The drag racing community lost Donald Dean Sox on Thursday, May 22, 2025, at age 62. Now, in order to honor Dean's memory, we begin with the story of Dean's dad, the legendary drag racer Ronnie Sox, who passed in 2006.
We now take you to Piedmont Dragway in Greensboro, North Carolina, where in 1964, Ronnie Sox would bring his AFX Mercury Comet. The Comet was powered by a 427 wedge motor, and Ronnie and Buddy went on to win many a victory with their very popular red, white, and blue 64 Mercury Comet. Piedmont was Ronnie's home track, and his presence was always welcome.
Bobby Starr was the track manager and a unique character in his own right. Now, he helped to propel superstock-style drag racing into the national limelight with stars like Ronnie Sox, Dino Don Nicholson, and Hubert Platt. In 1994, barefoot Bobby Starr returned to Piedmont for a first-ever drag race reunion.
And there they go, man. He's got the shoes off, and he is running. Now, another part of his trademark was to actually run on the rough stones in the pit area of the racetrack, and Bobby was up to it here in the 1990s, man. He did it again. What a guy.
See, I still go barefoot.
Now, does that hurt your feet like it used to or no?
Can't tell the difference.
Look who Bobby Starr had out to greet us here on Sunday morning. None other than Mr. Ronnie Sox himself. We're at a reunion at Piedmont Dragway down in North Carolina, right outside of Greensboro. You've come out with your Pro Mod car here, 64 Mercury Comet replica kind of car. How's it feel coming back to what used to be your home track back in the 1960s?
Oh, I really enjoy coming back. I'm seeing a lot of faces I hadn't seen in quite a long time, and it's really a great feeling. We're getting ready to get going here in just a few minutes, and after we get this thing fired up and get the adrenaline going, it's going to be even more fun.
Well, you're going to run only an eighth mile on this track. You used to run a quarter mile here when you had your 64 Comet back in '64. What kind of ETs and performance can we look to see out of your car here on the track today?
This car should go about 440, 163, 164.
Is that right?
In the eighth mile.
Now, the promoter is a guy that you remember from back in the days of Barefoot Bobby. We were talking about Bobby Starr being here. The first time you saw him in a while, too, huh?
It sure is. I didn't recognize it with his shoes on. But Bobby was one of the guys that first started getting the superstock cars, you know, coming into this area. He's the one that got Nicholson coming in here, you know, back in '61, '62, Hayden Prophet, Tom Sturm, all those guys. Back in those days, we would have like 35 or 40 cars up here running, man. That was some good racing.
Now, Bobby also paid some money out in those days, didn't he?
He was one of the first ones to start paying money, and it definitely drew a crowd. And then the guys down at Sanford started doing it, and this area right in here was where this type of racing got started.
Is that right? Well, Ronnie, I want to thank you again for all the memories, and we're going to look forward to see you out here on the track at Piedmont. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, start your engine and let her rip, Daddy-O.
And as the engines come to life here on the inside lane, we're going to see none other than Ronnie Sox with his 1964 Mercury Comet replica Prostalgia car.
deep on the inside. All right, boys, line them up, place your bets, get ready to go. You need to bet with us old folks. We got more money than y'all have, so we got to slow down and start it safe.
And it looks like Ronnie gets out of shape here and kisses the wall. Okay, we're over in the pits. We see Ronnie Sox doing a little work on his car. See, it got crunched a little bit here when it hit the wall. But I'm sure Ronnie's feeling a little bit down at this point because I know he wanted to put on a great show here for our reunion fans. But I know he's going to get ready and try it again a little bit later. So we're going to let him continue with his repairs. Okay, we're standing here with another person by the name of Sox. However, the first name is Dean. Now, we've been talking to Ronnie Sox here at our Piedmont reunion, and now your name being Dean Sox, are you related to this guy that's running this car?
He's my father.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what's your role here with the team?
I'm crew chief on the car. Me and my dad run most of the races by ourselves, but we have another guy from Richmond, Charlie Robbins, that helps us at the Nationals on all the races.
Now, this is not something new to you, because I remember reading in some of the Superstock magazines that you go back into the 1980s with your dad, being actively involved with him.
Yes, sir. I started working with him in 1981. Graduated from high school in 80. And I went to work for him full time. And the first year I worked with him full time, we won the World Championship.
How'd that feel, huh?
That was great.
Oh, I'll bet. You know, it's got to be a special kind of feeling. Maybe not all comfortable being a son of a famous dad in drag racing like this. How has it affected you over the years, Dan?
I'm wanting to start driving. I've got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But my dad wanted me to learn the car from bottom to top before I drove. He said it would make me a better driver.
Is that right? Can we look forward, perhaps, one of these days you are actually going to get behind the wheel?
Yes, sir, I hope so. We're trying to put a deal together for next year to run a new Thunderbird Pro Stock.
Are you really?
And if we get some good sponsorship, he's told me he's going to let me start doing some driving.
Okay. What about as far as preparation for that? I know there's a lot of schools out there and everything like that. Is that something you're going to have to look into, or is the dad the teacher?
My dad's going to be my teacher.
Is he really?
I think he's the best teacher you can have.
Yeah.
But I'll probably go to a drag racing school to start with.
Well, you really? Now, we're running across the country, I guess, with your Pro Mod car here, 1964 Mercury Comet. It's a replica of the cars that were original Superstock cars that your dad raced. Do you remember anything back in those 1960s years when your dad was on the national calendar to run across the country?
Yeah, I remember the late 60s when he had the Barracudas and the Dusters and all that.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of the races.
Would you go to the races, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, you were probably playing with your little trucks on the side, though, huh? Or were you actually paying attention to the races?
I was running through the pits a lot.
Were you really?
Yeah, I wasn't involved with the team, but I got to go to most of the races.
Is that right? Well, next year you're saying perhaps a Pro Stock style Thunderbird.
Yes, sir.
Super.
We're wanting to go back to Pro Stock.
And what's your job here with this car today? What are you looking to do?
Hopefully everything's going to be all right. We just put the motor back together and tried a couple of different things.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're not going to have to do much but just adjust the nitrous.
That's great. Yeah. Now, you doing the truck driving and everything and putting the rig in here and things like that. Feels good,
yeah.
huh?
Oh, yeah. I love doing it.
Great. Well, Dean, we're going to look forward to see you carry on the tradition that was started by your dad here with that Sox name and take us on into Pro Stock. Maybe we'll have another Pro Stock championship in the Sox family.
We're going to try. I believe if we can get some good sponsorship behind us, we'll definitely give them a hard time.
Great. Well, congratulations, good luck, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the races again.
Thanks a lot.
Well, here's a guy that I'm sure wants another crack at the track. That's Ronnie Sox here. Both cars doing their burnouts and ready to stage up here for our final run in the Prostalgia one. Ronnie using that racer tape or duct tape on the back of the car. Probably not going to hurt too much aerodynamically since we're only going 1/8 a mile here at Piedmont. Purge of the nitrous system there. Looks like Sox definitely hooked up on that one. He goes through first with a 458. And a 464 whizzing effort on the outside wing.
Our story continues at the 1995 Superstock Magazine Nationals reunion at Petersburg, Virginia.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Jim Amos of Beyond Video, and I would like to welcome you to Virginia Motorsports Park in Petersburg, Virginia. And you know, this is one of the most modern, high-tech drag racing facilities anywhere in the world. And over in the pits, we saw another historic drag race team from the past. We see Buddy Martin signing some autographs behind the Sox and Martin Ford Thunderbird Pro Stock car. Yes, the boss is back in 1995. We see Ronnie behind the car, and this is one of the cars he campaigns in Pro Stock competition here in 1995. But when he came out onto the track at our Superstock reunion, he had a different car. Yeah, at our 1995 Superstock Nationals reunion, Ronnie was debuting his new Ford Probe. And his son Dean is in the back adjusting the wheelie bars, getting ready for a matchup with Harold Denton. Harold, a longtime racer, racing a Pontiac in the Pro Stock ranks nowadays. And as we said, this is Ronnie's debut in the beautiful red, white, and blue Ford Probe. Crew chief here, Dean Sox, lining Dad up and getting ready to take Harold on in an exhibition race here at our Superstock reunion. What are you talking to him in the car?
He won a 697, 197. How'd it feel?
You have communications with your dad in the car?
Yeah.
Is that right? What do you use it for? What are you talking to him about?
He can tell me what the car does. If something breaks
Yeah.
on the car, he can let me know now. And by the time I get back to the trailer, I can have everything out ready to go. We can save 15, 20 minutes of time.
Is that right? Do you help him during the pre-staging procedure and all, or is it off at that point?
No, I can help him then. I can tell him what the track looks like and where to line up at.
Yeah.
It really helps us out a lot.
A little new technology, huh? Better than trying to yell over the sound.
Real hard to do that. Thank you.
Ronnie and Dean would be put to a test at the 1995 IHRA Summer Nationals at US 41 Dragway in Morocco, Indiana.
Crew chief here, Dean Sox, lining Dad up.
Now, after drawing a red light start, Ronnie kept his foot into it when the engine let go in the probe, and it rolled over 16 times. Now, Ronnie survived this brutal crash, but Dean was really worried about that. When I met up with Ronnie Sox at the 1997 NHRA Keystone Nationals at Maple Grove Dragway, he was the driver of a Pro Stock truck owned by Roy Hill of Roy Hill's Drag Racing School. Well, Ronnie seemed as cool as ever behind the wheel of the truck in spite of the crash at Indiana 2 years earlier. Now, these Pro Stock trucks were new to NHRA in 1997, and the trucks were limited to a 358 cubic inch small block engine with a manually shifted clutchless 5-speed transmission. Well, I was unable to locate Dean in the pit area, but Ronnie's longtime teammate, Buddy Martin, was on hand. Ronnie and Buddy went on to run a Pro Stock truck through the 2001 season. Unfortunately, NHRA discontinued the class at the end of 2001.
The Roy Hill truck on the far side with the Sunoco helm is Ronnie Sox. The team of Sox and Martin, longtime friends of Roy. And Ronnie back behind the wheel again. That's Buddy Martin walking out to back him up. It's a pleasure indeed to see folks like Ronnie and Buddy back into action, even in an exhibition type format. Alongside is the engine builder for the Chevy S10 team. This is John Lingenfelter, the Ford Ranger and the Chevy S10. As I said, Roy, kind of funding this out of his own pocket, has been using some Jack Roush built motors that were built around some NASCAR power plants. And they just now are getting into the development of a drag racing 358 cubic inch Ford engine. He said by the time you get a chance time, 7.90 for Ronnie Sox, but look at Lingenfelter.
In 2005, Ronnie and Dean were guests at the York US 30 Muscle Car Madness event in York, Pennsylvania. And this time, they had a car that had both their names on the driver's door. Now, after displaying the car at the York Fairgrounds, Dean got a chance to take the 72 Plymouth Duster down the quarter-mile track at Beaver Springs, Pennsylvania. Finally, Dean was a driver. Sadly, Ronnie Sox passed away on April the 22nd, 2006, at the age of 67. A memorial race was held to honor Ronnie Sox at the Roxborough Motorsports Dragway in Roxborough, North Carolina on October the 19th, 2006. On hand was Dean Sox and his Sox & Martin 72 Plymouth Duster. Listen now as track announcer Joel Thomas talks about Ronnie Sox.
He called his cars by names, and when he went to Chrysler, from Ford, from Chevrolet, he always changed the names. His Chevrolets were Thunder in Carolina, Hells Poppin', 447. But then when he went to the Chrysler cars, he called his cars simply the Boss.
Race personality and longtime friend Linda Vaughn takes some personal time with Dean Sox as they remember the good times they spent together. The last time I was with Dean Sox was May of 2007. We were at the Southern Auto Classic event at Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. The Atlanta Motor Speedway has always opened its doors to the ever-popular NASCAR racing circuit and cars like the legendary number 43 of the King Richard Petty. But today, the facility will make room for another form of auto racing when the thundering sound of drag racing will echo inside the High Bank Raceway. This Nextel garage area is packed with drag race vehicles from several different manufacturers and representing the golden era of drag racing history. The Chrysler camp was well represented at the show, and you have to love the beautiful red, white, and blue cars of the Sox and Martin team. This is the boss's Hemi-powered Pro Stock Cuda. Ronnie Sox also ran a series of cars in the Super Stock division, and he was a winner there as well. On Saturday morning, we were joined by Dean Sox and his red, white, and blue Plymouth Duster that serves as a tribute to his dad, Ronnie Sox. Now, Dean is as passionate about drag racing as his dad was, and it's really great to see him at the show. With the luxury suites in the background, two drag race machines make their way to the pit road area where a temporary drag strip has been set up. It will be a Chrysler versus Ford matchup as we begin, and the cars will be controlled by an arm drop start technique.
The 64 Custom Ford Galaxy at Oxford, Mike Osborne.
Over at the 422 trailer, I found team leader Rich Lamont putting his racing jacket on.
So you're coming out of retirement to make a pass here, a guest appearance?
Yeah, this is it. This is the big time, Jim. I came all the way down. Put that in your pocket. Put that in your pocket.
And you're going to run against the Sox and Martin car?
It'll be like old time.
Boy, I'll tell you. No doubt about it. Well, be careful out there now. It's a slippery track.
I'll try.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for some Ford versus Mopar action right here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. On the outside lane is Rich Lamont driving the Norristown Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. And on the inside lane is Dean Sox in the red, white, and blue Sox and Martin Hemi Duster. As we watch Rich Lamont return to the garage area, I guess it's safe to say that Richard left the line a little bit before the arm drop. But you know, that's okay, since this is just a fun time drag race and a great opportunity to race at the NASCAR racetrack. And here comes Dean Sox once again.
Oh, okay. They got at least got right down on the other side. So right over the racetrack.
On May 22nd, 2025, Dean Sox lost his battle with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, at the age of 62. May God bless his soul as he joins his father in eternal rest.